Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of The Vinyl Cut. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Chris, and with me, as always, is Kevin, and we are not coming to you live, but we are recording this in Kevin's studio, Cut and Run, in East Lansing, Michigan. And how's it going, Kevin?
Excellent, Chris. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. So this is we're taking a little detour from John Lennon. This is our second, what we call challenge episode. I forgot what we were calling it before. It was like he hated, he jammed, he hated, or something like that. Yeah. But I was thinking the other day when I was out for a walk, we could call it Cram It or Jam It.
I like that.
Sounds a little better.
Yeah, it does. All right, I'm down.
But yeah, the first episode that we had, that was a challenge episode. I challenged Kevin to listen to Garcia Peoples' One Step Beyond, and Kevin challenged me to listen to
Dr. Dog's Easy Beat.
Yes, Dr. Dog's Easy Beat.
Reviewing for this episode, I couldn't help but think how awesome these two bands in one show would be together. And I hadn't thought of that when I came up with this challenge.
With Garcia Peoples?
Yeah, for some reason, I could see them putting on a pretty... They're different. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Dr. Dog is more song-based, oriented. And Garcia Peoples are more jammy.
Yeah. And side note, Garcia Peoples are coming to Kalamazoo Bell's Brewery in May.
Ooh,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know the exact date. I can look on my phone. I think it's like May 7th. It's a Saturday night too. So I will be there.
Wow. I'll have to consider that.
Yeah, you should. But yeah, that's a great point. These I was really surprised by this band, that they're labeled psychedelic. I didn't really think that would.
Yeah, I think they're a little more post psychedelic to me. We'll get into some of the influences I'm hearing once we get into the songs. But yeah, this album in particular, which they recorded in their home studio, and they recorded it on a 1/4-inch tape, 8-track. They're basically using 1970 technology. And this album in particular sounds like it was made between 70 and 73-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point, and I would have to agree.
I don't think I'd mentioned this yet. It came out March 15th, 2005. And they're from Philadelphia.
Yeah. Man, like when I have so many friends like you and our other buddy Sean that are really into this band, and I have never given them a chance, and I don't know why. And I think it was because of the name. Like, it's a stupid fucking band name.
Yeah, you cannot argue that.
But my favorite bands all have stupid names. If you think about it, my favorite band, Fish. What is that?
That's literally quite possibly the worst name ever.
They're named after the drummer John Fishman. So
sure.
Fish, and they added a P. But anyway, going back to Dr. Dog, I think for the longest time I was like, wow, that just does not sound like a band I want to listen to. And
they seem like a ragtag group of guys. They seem they appear to me like they tour quite a bit.
Dr. Dog, when I initially think of them, I think of like a Dixieland jazz band for some reason. Like, hello, my baby, like.
Sure. Well, I believe Dr. Dog was in The Simpsons. They got it from The Simpsons, right?
Oh, yeah.
You were,
yeah.
It's just coming to me now that we're talking about the orientation of their name. But yeah, I think that's from a Simpsons episode.
And they all have nicknames that start with a T. When I was reading about them, I found that to be interesting.
I knew nothing of their nicknames.
Yeah, apparently.
But they're, I don't want to say leaders, but the two guys that have been in the band the whole time that pretty much write all the songs, Scott McKinnon on guitar and vocals, and Toby Lehman on bass and vocals. And those guys are still driving Dr. Dog. And Zach Miller was also the keyboard player on this album, one of them, and he's still with the band. But they've had a revolving door of drummers and fifth player. I think they've had the same group together now for nearly 10 years. I think they've had the same group since then.
Yeah, and doing my research, we're recording this episode on February 5th, and they were just in Detroit last night at the Majestic Theater.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
So they're still going strong. And then they were also part of Wilco's Sky Blue Sky Festival in Mexico.
Oh, nice gig. That's a perfect band. Like, Dr. Dog is a great... I would be so happy to see Dr. Dog open for Wilco.
It was a great lineup. It was like Wilco, Yola Tango, who's one of my favorite bands, Dr. Dog, Sharon Van Etten, and then a bunch of other Wilco side projects. There's a few others too. I can't think of them all right off the top of my memory.
That's a nice festival. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into the first song, The World May Never Know.
All right.
Great song.
When I first heard this, I was like, oh man, I hear the fucking Beatles. That's why Kevin wanted.
Well, maybe that's why I like them. I can't deny that.
There it is. Like, yeah. It's very Beatle-y.
It is. It absolutely is. And maybe that's what attracted me to them. I can't deny that. But they got some groovy songs. I said groovy. And they've got great harmonies. I mean, there's not a whole lot of bands harmonizing on good songs anymore.
I almost hear Octopus's Garden in this. In an alternate universe.
I do not hear Octopus's Garden in this.
Really?
Not at all. No, there's that quarter-inch or half-inch tape, 8-track.
It's very lo-fi.
It is. It is. In fact, yeah, let's hear Scott McKinnon talking about that.
Toby and I have been recording music together for about 20 years. And we just started doing that because we weren't really able to be in a band because we didn't really know people that we wanted to be in a band with. So his uncle gave him a 4-track, and that was just the best possible outlet. And so instantly, that wasn't like a compromised kind of way of working. That was sort of a bit of salvation for us to have. So we always took the very kind of humble gear that we could get our hands on real seriously, and just didn't view it like, okay, there's real music that sounds hi-fi, and then we'll just kind of scrape away the surface and do what we can, you know? Like, we just were like, this is what we have and we'll do it the best. And that has always been our, like, relationship with Fidelity. It's kind of arbitrary. It's just like, you set forth on a process with each record. You say, okay, I'm either going to be here, I'm going to work with this guy, and that could mean anything from going to a really nice studio with a producer to just being like, we're going to have our 8-track and 2 microphones. And it's always felt the same for us, and so we've just built off of that relationship with recording, and to this day still derive a lot of joy out of a cassette tape, or, you know, pretty simple way of recording. There's
So yeah, sounds to me like 1970 to 73.
Yeah, like there's some nice slinky guitars there. Love the holler in the background.
Yeah, that's a dog bark. Well, one of them barks. It's throughout all their albums. You'll hear it again on this album too in the background. That for some reason it's a trademark of Dr. Dog's.
How apropos.
Let's check out the next song. Oh no.
Yeah, this is very Beatle-y and kind of sounds like Paul McCartney a little bit.
Yeah, that bass line's super McCartney-ish. And yeah, this album really sounds to me like a lot like Paul's first solo album, Paul McCartney. I think it's the fidelity of it. These guys are obviously influenced by the Beatles and Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then on top of it, the way they recorded it and the sound that they got out of the finished product, it just reminds me a lot of this album. A little bit of Ram, like that 70, 71. Let's check out the next song, Easy Beat.
It's an easy beat of nothing, and we don't need no guitars. We can always sing and wreck our cars. Be careful of the judge inside. His gavel and his stands collide, but he's only guilty of what's wrong. Yeah, you can take a feather and pull it from your eye, murder all the liars who swear they're about to die. Oh, die, 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 die. You know that you'll die, 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 die. I won't let you die.
I like the weird vocals.
Me too. And I like that they are not afraid of putting some experimental effects on the vocals. A lot of people, especially most engineers and producers, you know, they want a really clean take on the vocals, and they won't let you throw too much shit on it. But since these guys are doing it themselves, they're getting away with pulling all these cool tricks that we probably wouldn't hear anywhere else.
It's kind of weenish.
Yeah, I hear a lot of Ween. Yeah,
Ween light.
Who's heavier than Ween?
Nobody. Metallica.
Those guys can party.
Ride the light. Metallica. They all look like moms now.
Mom and the gals going out for a crazy night. Gonna wear black jeans and leather.
Hetfield looks like the Cowardly Lion from the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Yeah. In 10 years, they'll all look like wizards.
In the cornfield beneath Hangman's tree, there's a rock with some initials, and beneath it is me. I need all your forgiveness and most of your love. You see the hangman you saw hanging, that wasn't who I was. But nobody noticed, nobody cared but me. Well, I knew
I love the cello in this song.
Very dour song.
Yeah, I think it was needed. It's the last song on side A.
Do these guys wear pork pie hats and suspenders?
Pork pie hats, no. Suspenders, yes.
Do they have does one guy wear a monocle?
No.
Okay.
No, they're actually kind of just look like normal dudes that just walked on stage.
in my
All right, fair enough.
Oh, but nobody noticed.
All right, let's
Nobody cared.
check out the first song on side B.
Ooh, I hear Jeff Buckley there.
Oh, I can hear that.
Happy man, it's 'cause I finally learned to die. I've lived a fool. I've lived a fool's life. Now I'm dying. Warn me to that door I'd walk back in. I may have come here by mistake, but I'll take what I can take. I've lived a fool. I've lived a fool's life, baby, and now I'm dying.
And a little Jim James, My Morning Jacket.
Sure.
I mean, they had to have been influenced by all their contemporaries around that time.
You would think so. And that's exactly, yeah, that would be their contemporaries.
Do you mind if we come along? Would you please?
All right, let's check out the next song, Say Something.
That sounds like a little George Harrison there.
Yeah.
You were mentioning before.
Yeah, that's very George Harrison-ish.
Could
Just-
be in All Things Must Pass outtake.
It's got that sound, that 1970s sound, and they're just missing the octave second slide, and it would be an exact George take.
no Phil Spector though, right?
No, but you know what? They're putting enough echo on things that it's got a little Spectre flavor to it. I mean, listen to even the drums.
I promised to mention Phil Spector in every one of our episodes.
And this one deserved it.
Yeah, groovy tune.
This song is called Today.
Have you ever heard of Guided by Voices?
Yes, I have. I lived in Portland, Oregon for 4 years, and there's a monument on every corner.
They're from Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, but Portland, Oregon's the hipster capital of the world.
You need a scarf to listen to them, right?
Yes.
I have a couple you can borrow.
I'm a scarfless rocker. If Keith's never worn it, I'm never gonna wear it. Oh, god damn it. You're gonna find a picture of him wearing a scarf now.
Oh, Keith's always... yeah, he's wearing a scarf. Are you kidding?
I know it. I can picture it already.
I find that in 10 minutes.
Yeah, Guided by Voices. I've never disliked anything I've ever heard from them. For some reason, I just haven't sunk my teeth into them yet.
Well, they have like 300 albums you could choose from, so...
It's a mountain to climb. Yeah, and I'm hearing some Bowie in here too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Imprisoned neath the covered wooden shaft, folds the road into its
A little bit
back,
of some Space Oddity melodies.
blows his pipe,
ideas.
smolders, blankets smoke into the room, and the day will end for some as the night begins for one. Staring
Lots of cool influences.
Yeah.
Let's have a listen to the last song of the album, Wake Up.
I just lay there, and I was born at the scene of a crime. Every witness, well, he was deaf and dumb and blind.
every moment was a moving, yeah.
They sound cool through headphones.
I love the sound of those drums. It's just clunky and punching, like just it doesn't sound like the Foo Fighters or Nickelback's drum kit. Just everything pumped up all the way. I think modern engineers are ruining rock and roll with their stupid overproduced drum sounds.
If you say Dave Grohl 3 times in a row, he'll show up.
I don't hate Dave Grohl, but I do not get the Foo Fighters. I don't know. It's not my thing.
If you're a famous musician and pass away, he will show up and eulogize you at your funeral. Yeah, for me, this is definitely a summer album. And we're recording this, it's February, so it didn't quite catch me as much as it might in, say, June or July. This could very well be a outside
Sure.
mowing the yard,
No,
laying in the yard.
And it's funny you say that, because that is when I got into the album. The first time I ever heard Dr. Dog was this album. And it was in the summer, too. I think it was of 2005 or 6. So it was right after it came out. I thought it was made many years before that.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much going on, and there's that Beatles influence. There's the Kinks. I hear the Kinks. I hear the band. I hear, like we mentioned, Ween. I hear a lot of the Guided by Voices. I hear a lot of the weird Elephant Six bands like Neutral Milk Hotel and Elf Power.
Those are bands you need a scarf for.
I've got two. It's complicated.
So, just overall, what kind of grade would you personally give this album?
I would give this album a B.
I think that's
I
fair.
would jam it again, probably somewhere down the road.
Excellent. Yeah. B plus A minus for me. It's right in there. I just think it's a great listen all the way through. I love the production of it, or the lack of, some might say. I think it just sounds great, and I think they're great songs. It's really impressive, and I've heard most of these guys' albums, and they've made some really good albums. This one's probably my favorite, and a lot of it has to do with the production of it. And I hope someday they revisit it,
Nice.
production style wise.
Yeah. Are they more slick now?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
No, it's like you hear this band grow in their production because they're doing it themselves.
Oh yeah. So like kind of like Black Keys, right? Because like Black Keys started off kind of down and dirty, and then now they're like playing the Super Bowl.
They can
halftime
afford
show.
the equipment now, right? Yeah, no, it's exactly it. These guys that do it themselves, which I can relate to. You have to make the music, so you just start making it on whatever you can. These guys had this 8-track tape machine. I've recorded many albums on 8-track machines, and it's what you have to work with, and it makes you work a different way. It makes you make those 8 tracks, or you can bounce obviously, but it does limit you in I think a good way. I think it's a great way to make an album, and everybody should do it a couple times in their life. And don't get me wrong, it is nice having unlimited tracks, because I believe there's one song on the album we just made from Big Sur that has 90 tracks. We did a lot of different things and experimented a lot, and could pull these tracks up and down and come up with completely different scenes and tones for songs and soundscapes. Whereas you're committing to it, making an album like this. And I think it's a great way to make an album. And I think they hit it out of the ballpark.
Nice. Well, thanks for challenging me to that. And, so the next episode, we're going to hop into Lennon's Mind Games. And then we'll have another Jam It or Cram It episode, and I get to give an album to you, which I am ready to give you.
Whoa.
I am going to challenge you to listen to David Crosby's If I Could Only Remember My Name.
All right. What year is that from?
1973.
Oh, is it that one?
It is I can't even put it into words how good this album is.
Wow.
It is a goddamn masterpiece.
Holy shit.
Yeah. All-star cast on it. Jerry Garcia, most of the Grateful Dead except for Bob Weir. All of them except for Bob Weir. Jefferson Airplane, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell.
Wow.
Produced by Jerry. Jerry plays pedal steel on it. We'll get into it in this.
Produced by Jerry. That sounds awesome.
We'll get into it in the next episode, but or in the next episode of the Jam It Cram It. But basically, Crosby, Stills and Nash were on a hiatus, and
You mean they kicked David out for a little while?
Right. And David was going through the loss of his girlfriend, Christine, who died in a car accident, taking her cat to the vet.
Oh, my.
And David had just discovered heroin. And
no wonder it's so good.
was starting to get deep into the throes of addiction. So basically all these musicians came together to help David get out of his funk, and Jerry was the one that showed up in the typical Jerry fashion. Was like, hey man, let's make some music. And anyway, I'm excited for you to listen to the album. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to listen to it.
And there's a great podcast with David Crosby. It's 4 episodes. It's called Freak Flag Flying. And it is fascinating. You talk about a guy that started off in 1963 as a folk singer in New York City. So he knew Dylan, all those guys.
Yeah, the Byrds.
Joined the Byrds. Electrified Mr. Tambourine Man.
It's true.
Made Bob Dylan want to go electric.
Maybe one of them. One of the reasons.
According to David. But so anyway, and then of course you have Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And he was friends with the Beatles.
It's true. Wow. Yeah. No, the Beatles loved the Byrds and welcomed them when they finally made it over to England. Yeah, there's stories about them partying together.
Yeah, dude's been through hell and back, and he's making a bunch of music now, which is not half bad.
Still with his son. I know he'd been making some solo stuff with his son.
Yeah, and he talks about how he almost joined the Grateful Dead.
Wow.
But he said there was no way he was talented enough to be in the Grateful Dead. There's some bootlegs going around.
I got 2 words for that. Mickey Hart.
God damn. Anyway, there's some bootlegs going around. It's called David and the Dorks. And it's Crosby jamming with the Grateful Dead.
That sounds better than Dylan and the Dead.
Tell me about it. That's horrible.
You would have thought that would work out. It was just bad timing for Bob. He was in bad shape at that time.
Yeah, he was. But so was Jerry. So it was all terrible.
Well, I look forward to it. I can't wait to dig into that. It sounds like a fun album.
Yeah, and thanks for helping me get over my Dr. Dog aversion.
No problem.
Stupid name aside, that was a good album.
You're absolutely right. All right, well, thank you all for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. This video and or podcast includes copyrighted material for the sole purpose of commentary, review, and education regarding the copyrighted material. The vinyl cut makes no claims of ownership of any of this copyrighted material. This use is protected under United States law, specifically Section 107 of the Copyright Act, as it applies to fair use of copyrighted material for the purpose of criticism and commentary. If you are the owner of any copyrighted material appearing here and wish for it not to be utilized for this purpose, please contact us directly at wardellc@msu.edu, and be sure to check out the vinyl cut on Facebook.